Clerk Kornecki, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Trustee Davis. Trustee Aiello. Trustee Bullfuss.
Here.
Trustee Taglia.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Bullwinkle.
Here. We could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ken Mount, would you like to do the honors of the Pledge of Allegiance?
Oh, negative. I'm not
No? No? Oh, seriously? Okay, Don Murphy, how about you? Would you like to lead us in the pledge? We could all remain standing. Trustee Tagley, would you lead us in a prayer?
Of course. Our Heavenly Father, be pleased to grant that this meeting, thus begun in order, be conducted in peace and closed in harmony.
Amen.
Amen. Item number 3 on the Committee of the Whole agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam President,
Trustee Bullfuss?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'll second that motion.
Are there any questions and comments from the public about our agenda tonight? Okay, questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bullfuss.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Item number 4, consider amendment number 1 to the fiscal year 2013-2014 annual budget. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. To better track expenses and revenues during the course of the current fiscal year, staff is introducing proposed budget amendments on a periodic basis rather than annually. Budget amendment number 1 proposes changes in the Federal Drug Fund, DUI Technology Fund, Street Improvement Fund, and Wastewater Fund. A 2/3 vote of the corporate authorities is required to approve an ordinance for the proposed changes. Thank you, Your Honor.
Questions and comments from the public about this agenda item? Questions and comments from the board?
Madam President?
Yes, Trustee Wagner.
Just to clarify, so this, part of this realignment of funds or of our budget, is going to allow us to help more people with the sewer improvement program?
That's correct.
That was my only question.
Okay. Any other questions and comments from the board? Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Bullfuss.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Item number 5, consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the fire prevention code, deleting the requirements for automatic sprinkler systems in single-family residences. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has decided not to require the installation of automatic sprinkler systems in single-family homes. Pursuant to Section 55 of the Illinois Building Commission Act, the village has given notice of the intended adoption of these codes to the Division of Building Codes and Regulations of the Capital Development Board more than 30 days before the adoption of this ordinance. Staff recommends that the President and Board of Trustees adopt this ordinance. And, Your Honor,
Yes.
I have directed Director Grill to do a survey of surrounding communities if we'd like him to give us a synopsis this evening.
Sure. Director Grill, you want to approach the podium? Give us a couple minutes of your findings.
Yes.
Okay.
I got providing some information to Manager Keener as it relates to communities surrounding the village and how they chose to address the sprinkler option. Most surrounding communities that touch the borders of Villa Park do not require sprinklers in single-family residential structures. The other thing that I looked at was the number of permits that were issued in those communities. With the exception of Elmhurst, most other communities have seen very little permit activity as it relates to single-family homes. However, Elmhurst, which does not require sprinklers, has seen approximately 95 permits last year, and they're on pace to surpass that this year. So that's what the findings were relative to which communities require sprinklers and what the permit activity in those communities were. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, first, do questions and comments from the public?
question. The permits that
Ken
were
Rock,
issued
if
and
you-
everything,
if you can
the permits
stand
that
up.
were issued and everything, were they for 2-story, 3-story homes of the 95 that were issued? And what's the square footage of these homes? Because Villa Park has a smaller home set. I mean, you know, a 3,200 square foot home here in Villa Park is rare. So being that, the fire department requires in any rental unit or home to have a carbon monoxide tester and a smoke alarm. So not trying to offset what the requirements are like in some place like Elmhurst with larger homes, I believe this is the correct way to go.
Thank you,
good with
Ken.
that?
Thank you, Ken.
Sure. Okay,
Okay. Is there anybody
dismissed.
else? Thank you, Ken. Any other questions and comments from the public? I'd like to stand up and state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is David Aranki, and I was invited to this meeting by the building department because I'm a local builder. I do build in Elmhurst, and I have an opportunity to build in Villa Park. I'm in the process of purchasing a vacant lot in Villa Park, and it was, when I came in for the permit package, they informed me that there was a sprinkler, mandate in single-family homes. And I build, all around surrounding neighborhoods, Lombard included, for the past 12 years, and none of those communities have ever required that. And from a builder's perspective, it's difficult to compete in Villa Park when you're putting a $10,000, $12,000 sprinkler system in a home. And they, from the perspective to make it more marketable, it's, I guess, the equivalent of selling a house with a swimming pool. Not everybody wants a house with a swimming pool. They're difficult to maintain, they're just regulated. And so, I took a step back when I heard that there was going to be a sprinkler system mandate, and they invited me to this meeting to, voice my support of eliminating the requirement, and that's what I came here to do, so.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, David. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions and comments from the public about this?
I'd like to make a comment. I'm here for different reasons, but I did see this and I was actually excited to see this. I actually represent a lot of developers who have, over the years since this ordinance was passed, expressed to me that they're not interested in building in Villa Park because of this ordinance. It adds too much cost to the new construction, and so I think that if we're gonna try and promote new building in town, that the board really needs to seriously consider passing this ordinance. Okay.
Thank you for feedback.
Okay, Madam President?
Yes.
I just want to make a note, two of our speakers did not identify themselves.
Oh.
You have to identify yourselves, and please sign in, okay? That's for the public's good.
Thank you, Clerk Bernacki. Any other questions and comments from the public? Okay, questions and comments from the board in regards to this item.
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
I don't have any trouble making a change in the ordinance. I just want to make sure that we make the change properly. And I noticed from the paperwork we received, we're deleting section 903 completely. Section 903 is a part of the village code in chapter 7, which has to do with the sprinklers. There are some sections in that 903 that have to do with standpipes and for taller buildings and alarm systems for taller buildings, which would require to have, as I read it, still would require to have the sprinklers in their buildings. Like anything over, I think it's over 4 stories would still be required to have the sprinklers. And I'm just afraid that we might be eliminating some parts in that section which maybe we should not be.
I will absolutely study that, verify it before it comes up for second read. Well, it's, what are we doing tonight? First reading?
No,
This is just committee of the whole, so we'll move it to the agenda. By the time first reading comes on, you will be well advised as to, that, or the correction, if necessary, will have been made.
So you'll supply
I
me with,
will.
if not just an elimination of section 903, but if anything stays, what stays, so I
You
know
got
what doesn't go.
We will get you a memo on it.
And the second question I had is, what's the definition, or where in the code is the definition of a single-family residence? What is a single-family residence? Is a condo building, are each one of those units
No.
considered single-family?
No. A single-family residence is just that, a residence only, a
Freestanding?
single-family. Yes, sir.
Okay. And does it still, am I correct in interpreting the code that it's applies to anything over 4 stories high, or?
That is what you've asked the question, and that's what we
You'll
need
check.
to verify to
Okay.
you.
I just wanted to make sure I
I-
went through
I-
it correctly.
Actually, the manager called me right as I was leaving to come to the meeting to say, are you sure it's single-family only? And it shall be.
Call, say,
We
both of us
shall,
are gonna be asking you
we
questions,
shall be
right?
sure.
Okay, thank you, I just need those answers.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board? I just want to say something really quick. I appreciate the staff and fire department being open to allowing us to take a closer look at this. The whole idea is so we can be more competitive, and if our surrounding communities aren't, doing this, if you will, it's something that at least it gives us an opportunity to take a closer look and think about a little more closely. So we appreciate that opportunity, and thank you. Thank you for that. So, all right. With that, then, roll call vote to move item number 5.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Item number 6 on the COW. Consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, clarifying the violations of liquor licenses and deleting the requirement for an inventory upon sale of a business selling alcoholic beverages. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The Illinois Liquor Control Act, 235 ILCS 5/1-1, provides the authority for the village board to determine the regulations for the sale of alcoholic beverages. At the request of the police chief and village attorney, a number of new violations are recommended to be added to the Villa Park Municipal Code. If these violations are included in the code, we might better be able to demand the liquor license holders to maintain orderly operations. Thank you, Your Honor.
Questions and comments from the public about this item on the agenda? Questions and comments from the board? Oh, I'm sorry. Scott Shepard from the public. You could state your name for the record, even though I just did.
Scott Shepard. It says here, the request of the police chief and village attorney, a number of new violations are recommended to be added. What are those violations?
It's gonna be one of my questions too. Yes, please, that was gonna
The
be one of my questions.
idea of this amendment to the code would allow our police department to enforce problems summarized easily by disturbing of the peace because of excessive drinking and carrying the issue or the problem out into the streets and the neighborhoods. So that we not only want to be able to enforce good conduct within the premises itself, but also outside the premises where there is obvious evidence that it is just carrying the argument outside.
My problem isn't maybe with what they want to do, other than I see this a lot on these where things are very vague, and you guys are voting on something where it's not spelled out. Like this says, a number of new violations are recommended to be added, but you're not informing the public.
The
Of-
ordinance, a copy of the ordinance is readily available. It is specifically
Very
itemized, 9 additional points. Can't wait to get you a copy of it.
Okay,
It goes into quite a bit of detail, actually.
okay, good,
Yeah.
Right.
thanks.
Any other questions and comments from the public? Questions and comments from the board?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner?
just a clarification, in section 1.8,
Yes.
the sentence that says, "The nuisance shall have a nexus to the operation of the business, and be any conduct or activity described in paragraph 9." What does it mean, a nexus to the operation, just some connection with the operation of the business?
Right, we're not, right. In other words, if you have a liquor license, and let's give you 2 seconds on this. If you have a liquor license, and somebody's drunk in front of your establishment, there's gotta be a nexus. There has to be someone that had seen that person walk out, because this is asking our liquor license holders to consider not only what's going on in their establishment, but the result of what had gone on in their establishment. How this works, so that no one thinks we're trying to come down on our liquor license holders, is that there is always, if there's a problem, a hearing before our liquor commissioner, our village president, and that is appealable to the Illinois Liquor Commission without too much difficulty. Our hope here is to work with our police department to keep primarily violations of misconduct down, or attend to them and deal with it. The liquor commissioner only has the right to impose a fine if there is a problem. A liquor commissioner can, in fact, remove a license, but it's very rare, very strange, and you have to have a lot of violations. But we're hoping that this will give us an opportunity to work. The police department and the administration will work more, hopefully, closer to handle neighborhood issues. We want to keep the peace.
Trustee Wagner, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else on the board? Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 7 on the COW, consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park granting a variance from the front yard setback requirements for a monument sign for the Laborers Local 96 office at 660 East North Avenue. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff recommends the approval of the attached ordinance for a front yard setback variation for a monument sign for Laborers Local 96 at 660 East North Avenue. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request by a vote of 8-0. Thank you, Your Honor.
Questions and comments from the public about this item? State your name for the record.
My name's Cheryl Tucker. I
Cheryl
just have one question on this, not against the labor thing, but where are we gonna decide if somebody else comes and says they wanna do it in the front of their business? Where are you gonna put the guidelines to say, okay, we give the variance to this? How are we gonna say, okay, no, we can't give the variance to another business or another organization that wants to do that?
Manager Keener or Attorney Orr?
The extent of the variance is always reviewed by the Plan Commission, and there is a criteria given to the Plan Commission whenever it considers a variance. It is how it affects the surrounding property, what it does to property values, et cetera. In the instance at hand, we are told that the Plan Commission unanimously, am I correct?
That's correct.
Recommended this. So we'd have to go back into the record for me to be able to answer the question, and we will look at the record, and the record should be available to you. But it's always thoroughly reviewed, and I think Mr. Grill can verify that.
Sure. Director of Community Development, Patrick Grill, approaching the podium.
Yes. In this particular instance, one of the overriding factors that the Planning and Zoning Commission heard in this particular instance is that applying the strict standard of location of this sign would have put it directly in the middle of a stormwater detention facility on that particular piece of property. That if we had forced them to meet the code, they would had to have done some additional stormwater detention. So that was a hardship on them. And so that was why the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this to keep it out of the stormwater detention facility that was on site, and the fact that where it is proposed to be located is not within any particular site vision triangle that will cause any traffic difficulties at that particular intersection.
Any other questions and comments from the public about this item?
I came to the tank on my lawn.
Questions and comments from the board? Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 8 on the COW. Consider a resolution accepting Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, agreement for the Northwest Area Sewer Rehabilitation Project. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village will be receiving $206,250 In other words, 75% funding from a CDBG grant for the rehabilitation of certain public sanitary sewers in the northwest portion of the village. And I did lay some maps this evening on your desk. The village will be responsible for $68,750, or 25% of the total project cost. This will extend the life of the sanitary sewers in that area and reduce stormwater infiltration and inflow. A proposed grant agreement with DuPage County will specify the terms and conditions of the grant. The village's share of this project is budgeted in the wastewater fund. Thank you, Your Honor.
Since you mentioned the map, do you want to just briefly talk about the boundaries here for the residents'
Sure.
knowledge?
I'll hold the map up, but it's generally bounded, if I can read it, Lincoln Avenue and Westmore, Sunset Drive, and almost North Avenue. So I'll hold it up for the camera. I have a black and white, but it's on the northwest side, almost rectangular. And again, this would help in stormwater flooding, and usually we never turn away a grant, so $68,750 will be our cost, and the grant amount will be $250. So it's a very very nice grant for us.
We'll put the map on the website, the village website, for the residents. And if you don't have access to the internet, we can certainly get you a copy. Are there any questions and comments from the public about this, by the way? Questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote?
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 9 on the COW. Consider engineering agreement with RJN Associates for a stormwater management addendum to the village's comprehensive plan. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village will be receiving $95,000 in planning funds through the Illinois Disaster Recovery Program for a stormwater management addendum to the village's comprehensive plan. The village will be responsible for $33,030 of the total cost. The plan will address stormwater issues related to the 2008 and later storms, especially in the combined sewer area. Village management recommends approval of an engineering proposal from RJN Group at a total cost of $128,030. The non-grant portion of the work will be taken from the stormwater fund and/or wastewater fund. Thank you, Your Honor.
Questions and comments from the public about this item? Questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. We will now convene to the formal agenda. Almost in record time. All right. Item number 1 on the formal agenda is the village president's report. First item on the agenda is a presentation of the landscape awards by the Community Pride Commission, and we have some folks here from our Community Pride Commission that will present the awards. So if you want to identify yourselves for the record.
Good evening, Diane Blair Sherlock from the Community Pride Commission. We have
Carol Davis from the Community Pride Commission, and Jeannie Nicholson.
from the Community Pride Commission. We are so happy to be here last year. Last year, we weren't able to do this because of the drought. It really took its toll on the gardens. And this year, we are so pleased because we got a lot of feedback from local residents. The last few years, we've been encouraging people to nominate their neighbors, and we've just been getting, we had an overwhelming response this year. We had a lot of nominations from the community to vote on, and it was really, really hard to narrow it down to the winners, but they're all really terrific. So we're very happy to be here and to present these awards for the beautiful landscaping and of these local neighbors, and we hope that you can still get out and see this stuff. We try and get the awards given out so that you can drive by and check them out, and I believe that the pictures will be on the internet as well, okay? So we have 3 awards this year. The first is for Deborah and Robert Reckart. I hope I pronounced that correctly. 449, 449 North Westmore. Beautiful. thank you for making our community beautiful.
Congratulations.
And
Congratulations.
our next winners are Jerry and Linda Van Ryn from 1020 South Summit. I drive by all the time. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
And last but certainly not least, we have Thomas and Deborah McShay for 902 South Harvard. And while we're up here, if I could just sneak one more thing in real quick.
Yes,
We'll
please.
be coming back hopefully later this month with the Spirit Awards, but also mark your calendar because we will be having, and I got confirmation today, Pause on the Path on September 7th up by the gazebo on the Prairie Path, and it's an event that everybody likes to come out and enjoy, and there will be some information about it on the internet in the very near future.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of your hard work, and congratulations to the winners. Thank you. All right. Next up on our agenda, letter B, appointment to commission, Roxanne Beausoleil to the Historical Preservation Commission. Roxanne, are you here with us tonight? I spoke to Roxanne and she wasn't sure she'd be able to make it, but okay. Well, we'll catch her, at the next commission meeting, but we'll need a motion to approve her appointment.
Madam President,
Trustee Taglia.
I move for the approval of the appointment.
We have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'll second that.
Questions and comments from the board? Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. I just have a few more things on my little punch list here. I've asked Manager Keener to give us a couple quick updates. He gives us a weekly report that outlines everything that is going on in the village from week to week. And there was something in his report about tree removal due to the emerald ash borer. You may have seen trees throughout the village that's in your parkway with an X, maybe a blue dot or a white dot. That all has meetings, so I've asked the manager to give us a quick update on what the tree removal schedule is, and then what our proposed tree replacement schedule is too, so. Manager Keener.
Sure, thank you, Karen. We often keep stats on a lot of things we do. Since May 1st to August 5th, we've removed 114 trees. 72 of those trees were infected with EAB, emerald ash borer. We've trimmed approximately 90 trees throughout the village and actually treated 170 trees which were infected with emerald ash borer. And we treated those trees to slow down their death. They're probably going to eventually die. But if we slow down their death, we'll be able to catch up with tree removal and tree replacement. In this year's budget, we placed $30,000 for working with the trees in forestry. So $15,000 of that was earmarked for tree replacement. Each tree is about $170, and $15,000 of that was earmarked for the injection, to pay for the injections. Tree replacement's going on as we speak, and if we remember, we did receive a generous donation from Ken Jacobson. What we'll do probably late September or October is we plan on, just like we did last year, is borrow a stump grinder from another community. We don't happen to have one. And we'll borrow that stump grinder, and then we'll grind down all the stumps from the trees that we removed, and then we'll come back and landscape the area. And we don't do the landscaping right after each individual tree stump has been ground down, because we need to get the stump grinder back to the community who owns it. So that's our plan. And so if you have a tree stump, if you want to send a code violations email to me, I'll make sure it's on the list. I happened to notice, I think, 3 in a park the other day that we'll probably make sure we take down, don't forget. So, and that's what's happening.
Okay, great, thank you. And then a couple things under the economic development umbrella. For those who have not heard, we have Villa Park Ace Hardware is coming back to Villa Park, I guess, under new ownership. Lou Manfredi, Mr. Fix-It, I just completely butchered his last name, but he is the owner of the Ace Hardware, and there's a soft opening on August 22nd. And so just kind of keep your eyes out for that if you see a lot of activity. This is located it's in off of St. Charles Road next to basically the Funky Java, if everybody knows where the Funky Java is in Villa Park. So we're very excited about this, and just kind of keep your eyes peeled. There's some activity going on there now. That's what's happening. They're fixing to open pretty soon. And then also, we had an empty car dealership on Roosevelt Road until recently. Lucky Motors, this is the car dealership that's right across the street from Haggerty. They are moving in. They're going to build basically what they call on their website the mega store. They have a location in Elmhurst, but this will be a high-end luxury pre-owned car dealership. And we're pretty excited about that. You might see a lot of activity going on in that location, so just wanted to give everybody a heads up that there's some interesting things happening over there as well, so we're pretty excited. And when are they maybe looking at opening? Do we know? I'm looking at Mamie Yee, our Director of Economic Development. Oh, yeah, if you want to come to the podium. Mamie Yee.
Come on down.
Yeah. Our Director of Economic Development, Mamie Yee.
Yes, Lucky Motors has purchased the property about a week ago, and they are assessing the building and so forth, and we are working with community development as well as the fire department to assess what sort of build-out they're going to require and that meets code. So once they've made their assessment, then they will submit their plans for the same, and they will probably be coming to the village for some economic incentives as well.
So, okay, just wanted to give the residents a heads up. If they see some activity happening, I think they have a fire truck actually parked out front with Lucky Motors.
Right, so we're very excited.
so-
There'll be a great business, and this will be, as you mentioned, an additional sales location for them. They're very excited about that because their existing location in Elmhurst is not a very visible location, so this will garner great visibility and great sales for them, so that'll be a great thing for the village. And in regards to the Ace Hardware with Lou Manfredini, he's very excited. As you mentioned, it's a soft opening on August 22nd with a grand opening in September. And then also the Bargains in a Box on North Avenue, where the former location of Cosmos, they will be looking to grand open on Wednesday of this week. So a lot of good things happening in Villa Park.
Yes, busy. Okay, thank you for that. And then for those who haven't noticed, North Michigan Avenue is finally under construction. Scott Shepherd, I'm surprised you didn't say anything about that. You were at the podium earlier, but. Oh, no complaints. We're not going to complain about the construction. But that construction project, it's been a long time in coming, like so many of our street projects. And weather permitting, according to the manager's report, it'll be about 5 months, give or take, depending on how the weather. If Mother Nature cooperates with us, it'll get done quicker. If not, we just take it as it comes. So, but that should be very good news. And then just a few more things. The village submitted or sent out with your village newsletter a village citizen survey. If you all have not completed that survey, please take a couple minutes. It's an 8-page survey. We ask a lot of questions, but we're seeking feedback from the residents on a variety of issues and comments and concerns. So we're planning on using that information as part of our strategic planning session that's coming up at the end of the month. But originally, the deadline was August 9th to submit it. We've extended that deadline to Friday, August 16th. So anybody who needs that extra time, want to take a couple extra minutes to think about your responses, by all means, we are giving you a little more time. So please make sure you tell us what you think. As of today, we've got right around 500 responses already. So we're pretty excited about that and are expecting a lot more to come in as we get closer to our deadline. So that's pretty good news. And then also wanted to just give a friendly reminder that the village has posted the water, wastewater, and stormwater rate study that Cheryl, actually a resident, had asked about earlier, on our website. All of that information is listed under headlines on our village website, www.invillapark.com. Take a look at that information. There's a lot there. But if people don't have access to the internet, contact Village Hall, 630-834-8500, and we'll get a copy to you in some way, shape, or form. So just wanted to put that out there. It is on the website. It's been posted since our meeting on July 8th. And then also, I just want to thank our sponsors, our volunteers, our vendors, village staff, and everybody else that I'm not mentioning for their efforts in regards to the community bike ride that we had on August 3rd. It was a wonderful opportunity to kind of get out and get some exercise. We had a great day. It was our 5th annual, probably the best day we've ever had for the bike ride. And it was somewhat of a somber day, too, because for those who aren't aware, Dr. Maria Hoffmeyer from Hoffmeyer Chiropractic passed away on July 29th. And Hoffmeyer Chiropractic had been a huge supporter of this event and so many other events in Villa Park. And she was a great person to know, very warm and friendly and very dedicated to Villa Park. So just want to send the condolences to Hoffmeyer Chiropractic on their loss. She will be missed. And then I also just, in kind of conclusion, our August 19th workshop has been canceled. So our next meeting will be, our next board meeting, which will be on Monday, August 26th, 7:30 here at Village Hall. With that, we'll go into next item on the agenda, number 2, public comments on agenda items. This is in regards to items number 3 through 15 on the formal agenda. This is your opportunity to speak about anything you have on your mind in regards to our agenda items. So if there's anything you'd like to ask or query, please approach the podium, state your name for the record, and please try to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Scott Shepherd.
Yep.
I'd like to make a comment on item number 7, on the water and wastewater rates. I mean, I've made some comments the last time I've talked to a few of you individually. And I know you spent all this money on a study and everything, and did a good job on it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it seems like every other board and everything else, and this board's doing the same thing. We're gonna take the study and we're just gonna do it and pass an ordinance. You know, I've talked about lessening the burden and breaking, you know, the raising up over time. You know, I'm not saying none of it's required. It's just, you know, water rates are up so high now, you know, you get hit all at once, you know, every 3 months. One of the suggestions, even the village manager said, breaking that up into monthly. Okay, well, now you're gonna take even more money by, you already make $118,000 off administration fees, now you're gonna collect triple that? You know, nobody's explaining anything on what the ordinance is and what the plans are and how you're gonna mitigate it. So, you know, or ease the pain. I'm not saying that these changes aren't needed, you know. Yeah, we want stormwater's never been funded. Another thing I'd like to suggest is our sanitary sewer, we get billed by Salt Creek on the water we use based on the gallons we use. I understand that. They have to clean that water. But the sewer system that runs in front of everybody's house here is used equally throughout the village. Why are some people paying more than others based on their usage? It's everybody's. If we're gonna do that, then I wanna only pay for 1 bag of garbage, because that's all that I do. I don't wanna pay for schools, because my children don't go there. I don't have kids. Why do I pay $4,000 a year in schools? I think, you know, rather than charge, and Stanley Consultants said that it's going to, with people conserving water, that sewer usage goes down. Maintenance on that sewer system doesn't go down. You know, nobody's addressing that. You know, just taking what they say and, you know, yeah, jack it up per usage. I think it should be the same as the stormwater, a set fee for everybody in the village where, you know, we share that responsibility. You know, so, no matter how much you use, you still get charged for that sewer line and everything else. And another thing is, I'd like to see the village start, when sewers collapse out in the village right-of-way and stuff, picking up some of the tab and looking at what the other villages do, what Lombard does, what even Hillside and what Elmhurst and them do. And maybe funding, you know, coming up with a funding for that. You know, but it seems like we're gonna take Stanley Consultants thing and just say, we're gonna pass it through as soon as possible, without easing the burden and looking at everything. So, I just think you should, at least wait until Chris and, trustee Aiello and trustee Davis are back. Let's hear what everybody has to say and, you know, debate it. It's gotta be done, but there's better ways to do it. So, thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Any other questions and comments on agenda items? Sure. State your name for the record and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
They'll be short. John Lupo, 30 East Van Buren Street. First of all, I'm here on item 14, but first of all, I'd like to congratulate Scott on getting Michigan Street started finally. And I want to thank you for actually bringing our street one step closer to actually getting redeveloped. It's a long time coming. And I do have one other suggestion is, once the street does get done, can we auction off our rough road signs that we have? Or I like to buy them from you, but thank you for moving forward on it. I'm looking forward to getting it done.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We are too. Thank you. Any other questions and comments on agenda items?
Hi, I'm Angie
Hi there.
Rojek. Let me sign in. This isn't an official agenda item, but since you brought it up, I wanted to thank Public Works for our new tree in our parkway.
Aw.
They've been coming by to water it, and they were taking care of it and saying it was their baby, so
Oh.
that made me very happy. I also just wanted to comment on the bullying and harassment ordinance. My concern, of course, I don't want anyone to be bullied, and I'm not against the ordinance per se. I would just like to see it spelled out a little bit better, and I'd be curious to know what the consequences are. I recently brought comments to a board member and was accused of bullying, and I'd like to make sure that I'm not gonna be thrown in jail for making comments and having concerns. So anyway, I just would like to see a little bit more spelled out, and also so people know kind of what the consequences are.
Sure. Sure. Attorney Orr can actually shed a little bit of light on that.
We believe that what we have here is a working ordinance. If time proves otherwise, we'll come back to the village board and ask for an amendment. What would happen in the case of bullying is you'd be issued a citation and you would have an opportunity to present your side of the case at a local administrative adjudication hearing. The worst that can happen is a fine, but it would only be after you would have an opportunity to tell your side. So that we think this might be a way to attack bullying or just less than appropriate conduct in a very local, non-expensive, non-accusatory manner. So we're hoping it'll work out. And from what you said, you'd probably handle it quite well.
And who polices it?
Any village authorized officer can issue a citation, and then you would just come forward and explain it. Any of our police or fire, our manager, our building department staff, but typically those people who are called upon to conserve the peace.
Any other questions and comments from the public on agenda items? Okay. State your name for the record and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Don Murphy, on agenda number 8. The only thing we've been talking about the ordinance and stuff. I'm still not clear about I know that the ordinance says that they don't want an opening on Harvard Avenue. The opening's been there 60 years. I'm not sure why there can't be an opening there. And the other, remark was about the fences. The difference in the fence, a wood fence is probably around $11,000 to $12,000. A metal fence is around $8,000 to $9,000 with the slats in it. They're both privacy. The wood fences, I think the metal fence is a better fence than the wood fence because the maintenance on it is less. They both would have the security or the privacy slats and stuff, and when the wood fence obviously is a private fence, so. And then the other thing was about, we're still trying to figure out about him parking behind the fence, if there's a solid fence, parking there, his equipment there still. That was the only question on that. I know that they said nothing within 30 feet on that, so, I mean, if we have to, I guess we'll try and work with it, but just make things more tight.
Okay. Thank you. When we get to that item on the agenda, we'll address those questions. I'm looking at Director Grill from Community Development, so we'll make sure we address those questions for you, okay? Thank you. Anybody else from the public? State your name for the record. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Mark
please.
Berneri.
Mark Berneri.
I'm here, I'll just make a short comment on number 7. Whether you pay something once a month or once every 3 months, it's the same amount of money. I don't see any break there, and I fully understand it's the city of Chicago that's raising all these rates that are requiring the DuPage Water Commission and the individual villages to raise the rates. I mean, there's no question. So I don't really see what the issue is gonna be or what the big issue is on it. But the second thing is item number 8, and basically what Don said, it kind of boggles my mind. You're required to put up a fence, but you can't park behind it because it's within 30 feet of the street. I mean, that makes no sense to me. Why does he have to put up the fence then? The fence will screen anything that's parked behind it. I was coming around the corner, everybody talked about, the unsightliness and everything else. I was coming around the corner come from the west on Saturday morning and pulled around onto Harvard because that's my normal way to go home. I live right there too. And here's 2 demolition derby cars, all smashed up, parked at the gas station. Is that unsightly? I think it is. To me, it's offensive. And then I got the guy that's on the other side of me, where our building is. It's been auto repair, except they got all these junk vehicles with no license plates on them, smashed up. The whole parking lot's full of them. But nothing's ever said about that. I just don't understand, how the focus is all in one area, but there's so many things around that, we could be going at this forever. I know Trustee Aiello brought up last month, our last meeting, about the village fenced-in area over here on Ardmore. Well, you got the same thing in the alley over here, right down the street. There's just as much stuff leaning up against that fence. So, if you're gonna do it with one, you need to do it with everybody. That's the way I feel. You need to be fair with everybody, and I think that by allowing him, he's willing to work with the village. There've been an ongoing talks, right? I mean, I think that he should be allowed to have parking behind that area once the fence is up, and there's actually a fence there now. There always has been, but he's going to put up a screen fence one way or the other. So I'd like to just to reconsider that again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on public comments? Okay, Cheryl. State your name for the record and
Cheryl Tucker.
try to keep it to 3 minutes if you can.
I spoke two meetings, I guess, board meetings ago, about the fence issue on Harvard. I understand your privacy issue on that, but I do have a problem with requiring him to have a wood fence put up instead of the fence that's already up there and put the slits in it. Because I have, like everybody else, drove around town and have noticed that there are a lot of metal fences up that have been there for a while. Grand North Avenue has one, across the street here has one, and there's no graffiti on them. But if you drive through and notice the fences that have been required or have put up new, they have almost a sign on them that says, "Graffiti me," because they've had to be patched. If you look at the fence right across from, on Addison, that the village, the resident put up, because they did have a wire fence there and they put up a wood fence. It's been graffitied 3 times, and, you know, right by the railroad crossing. There's one by, Ardmore. The residents behind the shopping center put up a wooden fence. You can see a heart on their fence constantly. You can see graffiti across their fence constantly, because they had to take down the metal fence and put up a wooden one. Maintenance on that wooden fence is a lot more expensive than a metal fence. I mean, I went through the fence ordinance. I don't see anything that says they're required to put it up. I understand the privacy issue, but I don't see why we are now requiring or stating that he needs to put a wooden fence up when that fence has been there forever. For privacy issues, I don't see why sliding won't work. It also doesn't interfere with visibility. I mean, that's another issue with the prairie path going through there. I mean, you've got visibility of bikes, the slits make it a little easier to see around an object than a wooden fence.
Thank you. We'll address these questions and issues when we get to that item, so. Anybody else? Anybody? Okay. Item number 3 on the formal agenda is the consent agenda. A through D. A, minutes from village board meeting for July 22nd, 2013. B, minutes from village COW for July 22nd, 2013. C, minutes from the special meeting for July 29th, 2013. And D, approved bill listing dated August 12th, 2013 in the amount of $1,403,290.27. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Madam President,
Trustee Volfus.
make a motion for the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Madam President.
Trustee Case.
Second.
Questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 4 on the formal. First reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the insurance requirements for owners of residential or commercial property working in the village's adjacent right-of-way. The village desires to provide different insurance requirements between public utilities and adjoining owners based on the frequency of requesting permits and the scope of the work to be performed in the right-of-way. This ordinance would require each owner of a residential or commercial property occupying right-of-way or constructing any facility in the right-of-way to secure and maintain liability insurance policies, ensuring the owner is named, insured, and naming the village and its elected and appointed officers, officials, agents, and employees as additionally insured on the policies as stated in this ordinance. Staff recommends that the village adopt this ordinance. Can I have a motion on item number 4?
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
make a motion for item number 4, the ordinance.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Questions and comments from the board on this item? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 5. First reading of an ordinance adding to the offense of bullying and harassment to the Village Villa Park Municipal Code. Every person is valued and respected regardless of perceived differences, and many communities throughout the United States are taking steps to ensure that their citizens live in safe, non-hostile environments. Bullying and harassment disrupt safe environments and interfere with one's ability to succeed or excel within the village. Staff requests that the village board discuss passing an ordinance which would help regulate bullying and harassment in order to ensure that everyone is able to participate in or benefit from programs, activities, work sites, and opportunities offered in the village. Do I have a motion on item number 5?
Madam President,
Trustee Taglia.
I'd like to move to table item 5 until the full board is present.
Okay. Do we have a second on that motion?
Madam President,
Trustee Case.
I'd like the second.
So do I need to amend the motion, or can we do a roll call vote on this
You
one?
do a roll call vote.
Okay, we'll move forward with a roll call vote then on this motion to table this until we have a full board.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
No.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
No.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes.
It's tabled to the next regular meeting of the village board.
Okay. Alrighty. Item number 6, second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 19 of the Municipal Code of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, booking fee. The police department, through its law enforcement mission, routinely arrests persons suspected of committing crimes. Once taken into custody, these arrestees are processed into the criminal justice system through a practice commonly referred to as booking. Booking usually involves a temporary incarceration, fingerprinting, booking intake paperwork, mugshot, bond bail posting, and possibly a transport to the county jail. Many police agencies recoup some of the booking expenses through the imposition of a booking fee of $50. In calendar year 2012, the Villa Park Police Department processed approximately 1,000 adults through booking. Do I have a motion on item number 6?
Madam President,
Trustee Taglia.
I move to table item 6 until the full board is present.
Do we have a second on that motion? All right, then we'll go back to a motion on item number 6 in this original form.
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
I make a motion for the ordinance in item number 6.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I second that motion.
Okay. Questions and comments from the board?
Madam President?
What's on your mind? Yes, Trustee Taglia.
I disagree with this fee. When you're arrested, you're penalized by the state, the county, the village ordinance. This is just an extra fee that the village is charging. I don't think it's fair. I'd ask the village to consider voting against this. That's all.
Thank you. Any other questions and comments from the board? I just want one clarification in regards to this. If the person is found not guilty, their fee will be reimbursed, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, it's provided as in the ordinance
Okay,
itself.
that's
I
what
can show
okay.
it to you,
Yeah,
yes.
all right, so that's clearly printed in there.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia? President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, item number 7, second reading of the Village of Villa Park amending water and wastewater rates. This ordinance will amend the village's municipal code in order to adjust the water and wastewater rates in order to meet operation and maintenance costs. Pursuant to the Stanley Consultants Water and Wastewater Studies, the water and sewer rates should be adjusted to reflect the study's recommendations. These recommendations are related to the village's proposed capital improvement program, increasing utility spending due to inflation and increased maintenance costs, declining water usage due to ongoing conservation efforts and water rate increases programmed by the City of Chicago and the DuPage County Water Commission. Staff requests the President and Board of Trustees approve this ordinance. Do I have a motion on item number 7?
Madam President,
Trustee Taglia.
I move to table item 7 until the full board is present.
Do we have a second on that amended motion? No second? All right, we're gonna go back. Motion on item number 7 in its original form.
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
I make a motion for item number 7, second reading.
All right, do we have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Case.
second.
Questions and comments from the board? What's on your mind? Going once? Going twice? All right, roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Wagner, sorry about
I
that.
just want to say what I said before at our last meeting, that I'm going to reluctantly vote for this. I think that the staff has made a good case for this. But I do have one question that a resident raised. There's no raising of administrative fees as part of this. I think someone alluded to that there'd be some dramatic increase in administrative fees for water and wastewater. I don't recall seeing that in the ordinance.
Yes, Manager Keener, or you guys want to arm wrestle for the answer? Okay. Manager
I'm out of
Keener.
this.
Okay,
That,
Manager
I,
Keener.
I believe you're correct, Trustee Wagner, there's no absorbent fee increase. It's switched to, the size of the water meter, if it's a half, a three-quarters, things of that nature. So it's very similar to what we had previously, besides the increases for water and sewer usage.
Thank you.
Any other questions and comments from the board? I have one kind of off-the-wall question. I've brought it up before. Is there any recourse when we go after the DuPage County Water Commission or the City of Chicago?
Probably not.
Why not? Why can't we?
Because they sell it and we buy it.
Well, you know, this is getting pretty ridiculous.
I couldn't agree with you more, but,
You know?
It's been tried, and there is no recourse. In fact, there was a case brought because Hammond, who sells water to several suburbs, as soon as Chicago increased their water, they just increased it 'cause, literally. And what they're doing is they sell it, and they were sued saying, you have no rational basis for the increase, you've not made a case at all for your increased cost, and the decision was, sorry, Chicago raised it, we could raise it. We sell it, you buy it. No questions asked, so that the hope that we would have is even less, because Chicago's made a case that they need additional infrastructure, and that was the purpose of their increase.
Well, it's getting pretty tiring getting caught in the middle of this arrogance fight, I'll tell you that. I can't stand it. All right. Roll call vote.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
No.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullington?
Yes. Number 8, on the formal. Second reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park approving a conditional use for automobile rental for the property at 207 West St. Charles Road. The Planning and Zoning Commission and staff recommend approval of the conditional use for the rec room at 207 West St. Charles Road to allow the renting of vehicles at this location with the conditions as listed in the ordinance. Do I have a motion on item number 8?
Madam President,
Trustee Taglia.
I'd like to move to table item number 8 until the full board is present.
All right, do we have a second on the amended motion?
Madam President, I'd like the motion to pass.
Well, we're on I'm looking for a second right now on the amended motion. So,
okay.
yeah, it's okay, it's okay. All right, then I'm gonna circle back to the original motion on this item.
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
I make a motion for the ordinance, second reading.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Case.
second.
Questions and comments from the board? It's on your mind. Trustee Case.
I don't agree with the wood fence going up. I said it before, I think it's just up for graffiti. And I don't understand about, if you put up a fence, you can't park behind it. I don't understand that. And I don't agree with him having to close up that parkway there. I think he should have the option to leave and enter from there. So,
With that, if Director Grill from Community Development had a few questions come up. No, Planning and Zoning spent a lot of time working on this, and to Mr. Murphy's credit, you've been ticking away at your punch list there, so we appreciate that. It doesn't go unnoticed.
The issue with the 30-foot setback of any vehicles really relates to the request by Mr. Murphy to utilize U-Haul rentals at his location, and the desire not to have any of those U-Haul trucks parked close to Harvard Avenue. It just so happens that the motion that the Planning and Zoning Commission passed was one that no trucks could park within 30 feet. So that would exclude any particular person who was renting space at that from parking their trucks within that 30 feet. But the real issue was the U-Haul trucks and not wanting them to be visible from Harvard Avenue. The fact that also about the opening onto Harvard Avenue, that was a particular condition that related to a previous conditional use that the village passed that said there shall be no access to Harvard Avenue. And Planning and Zoning just continued that prohibition. I think it's clear to note that technically they have not had the right to utilize that access onto Harvard Avenue since the passage of that ordinance.
How long has that ordinance been on the books?
I think I referenced it in the warden, in my staff memo.
Sorry to put you on the spot there, I didn't mean to.
It's quite all right.
Sorry about that. I'm just curious. Yeah. That's okay, it's been,
That'd be 20 years.
I was just curious. Didn't see anything in here directly.
That dates back to 2004, ordinance 2596, that prohibited that access to and from Harvard Avenue. So for almost the last 10 years.
Yeah. Okay. And in regards to graffiti, you know, do you know of any data that, you know, shows that metal fences versus wood fences are least likely to get tagged, or, I mean,
Well, certainly.
I don't know.
I don't have any evidence that suggests one way or another. We don't keep records such as that. Any solid surface obviously provides the potential for tagging, whether it be a wood fence or a chain link with slats. What the Planning and Zoning Commission was getting at in this particular instance, the petitioners were requesting a conditional use. As part of that, the village has the ability to place conditions on that particular use to try to lessen the impacts that it will have if it is allowed to operate. One of those conditions that the Planning and Zoning Commission felt strongly about was that there be a wood fence as opposed to a chain link fence. They thought it provided a much, an upgraded architectural and feature and design with the overall project, whereas the current condition is a chain link fence, and you can see everything that's back there. The property maybe hasn't been maintained as well as it could have been in the past. Mr. Murphy has done a great job since the submittal on this application to clean it up. But I think all of that played a factor in the Planning and Zoning Commission requesting that there be a wood fence associated with this conditional use request.
And when we talked, we had a good conversation, and you were concerned about aesthetics and everything. Of course, wood fence would look nice. I've seen some new ones popping up throughout town, actually. So, yeah, that went up, yes, it went up pretty fast, actually. So one day it wasn't there, and the next day it was. So they do look nice. So it does help with the property value. You and I talked about that too. So anything else, Director Grill, that you would like to add? Want to make sure we've gotten all the questions answered. There were quite a few.
No,
bantered about.
like I say, the Planning and Zoning Commission heard this. Their recommendation was 5-0 with the conditions as listed in the ordinance.
Madam President?
Trustee Bolfus.
With regards to the opening on Harvard Avenue, now there's been 2 Planning and Zoning Commissions look at that question about having the opening on Harvard, and both commissions back in '04 and now again this year have recommended that opening not be there. They're concerned about the traffic, and to be honest with you, the fence that's there now, it doesn't get closed. So that was one of their concerns too. So we've had 2 commissions that this board set up who've recommended that there be no entrance or exit off of Harvard Avenue into the back. Now, in regards to the wood fence versus metal fence, one of the reasons why I attended the Planning and Zoning Commission was that they wanted to make sure that they were able to screen the view of the rental trucks from Harvard Avenue. And they felt that a 6-foot solid wood fence would accomplish that goal as best as they could. Whereas a chain link fence, even with the slats, you can still see through it to a certain extent. So that was the reason for the recommendation for the 6-foot fence, and it makes sense to me. The only one I disagree with is if you're going to put up a 6-foot wood fence, I don't think you should have to stay 30 feet away from the lot line, because the whole point of the fence is to block that view. If you block the view, then you should be able to use the whole lot. So my recommendation would be, I'm not ready to make a motion yet, would be to eliminate the 30-foot setback on any storage up against the fence, if we continue with the wood fence requirement. So.
Trustee Wagner.
Madam President, at our last meeting, there was some discussion about the ability to move equipment, specifically Mr. Ranieri's equipment, in and out of the space through St. Charles Road. I just want to make sure, I know Director Grill visited the property. Is this something that's feasible? Is this,
Come forward, and if you have answers to that question.
Well, staff certainly has no reason to believe that access from St. Charles Road would create any particular issue for either the owner or any of the tenants of the property.
Yes,
I just
Trustee
want to
Wagner,
comment,
sure.
Madam President. You know, since Harvard Avenue is used by, of course, pedestrians, school children, you know, I think it's appropriate to close that off. You know, per planning and zoning recommendation.
Okay. Any other questions and comments from the board?
Madam President?
Yes.
I'd just like to make
Trustee
a
Taglia.
comment that there are several issues with this ordinance, and I tried to get the board to table this, but they moved for it and seconded it, and they're about to pass this with all of the imperfections and unfairness that is in this ordinance. I'd just like to ask the board to vote it down, and let's try to fix it, and make it a little better.
Public comment on that?
Not at this point, no.
Madam President?
That was earlier.
A 6-foot wooden fence, how high is a U-Haul?
Madam President,
Yes, please.
I'd like to
Trustee Bolfus.
make a motion that the 30-foot setback requirement be excluded from the planning and zoning's requirement. I got that right, Attorney Moore?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So that's my
voting on-
motion,
yeah.
to amend.
All right. Is there a second on the amended motion?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to second that motion.
second the motion? Okay. Questions and comments about the amended motion? Before we go to roll call vote.
Just for just a vote on the amendment, right?
The amendment would remove item G.
Okay, item G.
Madam President?
Yeah,
Yep, go ahead. Yes. You wanna I'm sorry, could you go to the podium, please? Yes, we need to capture you.
Mark Ranieri, there's a curb cut there that's been there for over 60 years. The curb has been replaced several times with the curb cut and the driveway there, probably as recently as 10. I mean, I don't remember exactly, but Harvard Avenue has been redone a couple of times. The curbing has been replaced there. There's a curb cut that was put in. It was probably right around 2004. Do you remember when that street went in? But even so, you know, I mean, there's so little traffic that goes in and out of there. There's no traffic. You know, we might go in and out of there once a day. It's not like there's trucks lined up to go in and out, and that's not an area where you're gonna plant or put U-Hauls anyway, because U-Hauls can't get in and out from there, so. I don't know, I just, I asked the question about the
Legal-
ingress and
right.
egress. 20 years, if you use it for 20 years.
That's a roadway. It's not ingress and egress. You're absolutely citing the law correctly. In fact, for a public body, if we use the roadway for 15 years, we'd be able
Right.
to declare it our roadway. It's a roadway, not ingress and egress. Those are the laws that talk about,
So you're saying
use
the
of
law's
roads.
changed?
That's only pertains to use of roads,
Well,
not
to go
ingress.
from one property to another, from the village
It's not a
property to
road.
the,
It's not a road.
if I cross your property to get to my property for 20 years.
That's an
I
easement.
have the right to
So-
continue to do
Right,
it.
you have an easement right amongst, between
Right.
each other, but it doesn't.
But not
give
between
you-
the village and a private owner.
right.
Okay, that's the only question I had.
Right. You are citing the law correctly for roadway.
All right. So we have a motion on the table to amend,
To eliminate.
Item G.
yes, to amend the ordinance that's on the table now, omitting item G, which states, "No vehicle shall be stored within 30 feet of Harvard Avenue." Did I have a second on that motion?
You had it.
Trustee Bolfus first, did give us the
Wagner was
motion, and then
second.
trustee Wagner second, okay. We'll do a roll call vote on that then, on the amendment,
Just eliminate.
okay? Yep.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, now,
On the main motion, is there any other amendments?
do we have any other amendments on the primary motion? It's on the table right now. If not, we'll do a roll call vote on the second reading. All right, roll call vote, Clerk Kornecki?
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
No.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for, Mr. Murphy, thank you for your due diligence in addressing the issues that planning and zoning set forth, and for coming to the meetings and addressing your concerns and asking questions and being a part of this process. We appreciate it. Okay. Okay, thank you. We appreciate that. All right. Item number 9 on the formal. First and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park granting a variation from the front yard setback requirements for a monument sign for the Laborers Local 96 office at 660 East North Avenue. Staff recommends the approval of the attached ordinance for a front yard setback variation for a monument sign for Laborers Local 96 at 660 East North Avenue. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request by a vote of 8-0. Do I have a motion on item number 9?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Taglia.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 10 on the formal. Resolution to accept planning staff services delivered by the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. This resolution would authorize an agreement between the Village of Villa Park and the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning as part of the Local Technical Assistance Program. This agreement is designed to recommend strategies to address current and projected housing market issues. This assistance from CMAP is part of the implementation of the Go-To 2040 Plan, which is a regional comprehensive plan for the 7-county Chicago region, encompassing Cook, DuPage, Kane, Kendall, Lake, McHenry, and Will counties. This assistance will be provided to the Village of Villa Park free of charge. Do I have a motion on item number 10?
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
make a motion for item 10.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to second that motion.
Any questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 11 on the formal. Resolution approving a lease agreement with William Ledwig for 257-277 East North Avenue, Villa Park, Illinois. The property has been on lease to William Ledwig, DBA Auto Cool, for the monthly rent of $4,000 since February 1st, 2012. The new lease will be for an additional 2-year term to expire on February 28th, 2015. The village would have the right to terminate the lease within 90 days' notice to allow for flexibility in selling or redeveloping the property. Do I have a motion on item number 11?
Madam President,
Trustee Taglia.
I'll move for the resolution.
Do I have a second?
Madam President.
Trustee Case.
Second.
Questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 12 on the formal. Resolution approving a local agency agreement between the Village of Villa Park and Department of Transportation, IDOT, North Ardmore Avenue Streetscape Project. The village will be receiving an Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, ITEP grant, that will provide approximately $82,988, or 80% funding, for the streetscape improvements on North Ardmore Avenue. The proposed local agency agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT, will establish the cost sharing for Phase 2 design engineering of this project. Staff requests the board approve this engineering agreement. Do I have a motion on item number 12?
Madam President? Oh, go ahead.
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Madam President?
Trustee Bolfus.
Second.
Questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 13 on the formal. Resolution approving an engineering services agreement between the Village of Villa Park and V3 Companies Limited, North Ardmore Avenue Streetscape Project. The total cost of the proposed work for the Ardmore Avenue Streetscape Project is $103,731.90. And the village would be responsible for $20,747, or 20%. The village would front the money for the total cost of the project and then obtain reimbursement from IDOT for 80%. Public Works staff recommends that the President and Board of Trustees approve a preliminary engineering services agreement with V3 Companies. Do I have a motion on item number 13?
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
make a motion for a resolution.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Case.
second.
Questions and comments from the board? I have a really quick one, might be a loaded question. When do we suspect that this project will start? I know that we're still kind of going through the motions here. I have to ask these questions. I'm being difficult tonight. Vitas Descalis, our Director of Public Works, has approached the podium.
Thank you, Madam President. Assuming a positive vote tonight, both agreements would be submitted to IDOT, and once we receive a notice to proceed from IDOT, then the design work can commence. So it is pretty much determined by how long it takes IDOT to give us that approval.
In our experience, can take a while, but what's your sense? What do you think?
I'm hoping 8 weeks.
8 weeks, so even if we double it, we're looking at starting it at this year, early next year,
Yes.
let's say, so, okay, all right. Hopefully, we don't have to double that timeline, but you never know, so, all right,
I
Madam
think they've
President?
been getting better.
yeah, hopefully.
Madam President,
Yes, Trustee Bolfus.
wasn't there going to be a committee of residents to go over the design? When will that committee be put together?
Manager Keener?
That committee can be established at any time, especially since we're at the point now where IDOT is looking over some things, so.
Does that answer your question?
I assume that
So-
means soon.
Yep, anytime, today, tomorrow, quickly, soon, you betcha. Manager Keener, sorry, Trustee Wagner, how will you get the word out about this? How do you wanna pull this together?
We can make an announcement this evening, because we're looking for folks to serve on the design committee, and probably put a notice on our website.
I think a notice, kind of a little description of what this is all about would be very good. And then, again, for those who don't have access to the internet, call Village Hall at 630-834-8500, and we'll get you the information, in hard copy format, so.
Madam President?
Trustee
I think
Wagner.
at our last meeting, when this item came up, there was a suggestion that we involve the Community Pride Commission, the Environmental Concerns Commission, and I happened to carry that to the last Environmental Concerns Commission, and I said, you will probably be enlisted to help with some sort of design, input, and so I think I'd like to, rather than have us recruit new folks from the community, we already have commissions that kind of deal with that issue, so I like the manager's idea, and I'd like to see us maybe carry through with that, if that's, if we deem that appropriate.
Manager Keener,
Oh, I'm fine with that.
you okay with that? If there happens to be anybody else out there that is interested, though, in participating, by all means, we won't turn you away, so if you want to participate. But thank you, Trustee Wagner, for that. That's a very good point. Anybody else on the board? Roll call vote.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 14, resolution approving engineering proposal for Phase 2 design engineering services between the Village of Villa Park and with Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated for the Van Buren Street Improvement Project. Public Works is proposing the completion of the Van Buren Street Improvement Project, which consists of street and utility improvements on East Van Buren Street from Ardmore Avenue to Cornell Avenue. The proposed scope of work includes the preparation of plans, specifications, and estimates for the completion of proposed street and utility improvements. Public Works staff requests approval of an agreement with Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated at a cost not to exceed $56,860. Motion on item number 14. Do I have a motion?
Madam,
Trustee Taglia. Is that you?
Yeah, I'll move for the resolution.
Okay. Second?
Madam President, I'd like to second
Trustee
that motion.
Wagner. Okay. Second on the motion. Questions and comments on the from the board? Okay. Roll call vote.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 15 on the formal, resolution accepting the Community Development Block Grant Agreement for the Northwest Area Sewer Rehabilitation Project. The village will be receiving $95,000 in planning funds through the Illinois Disaster Recovery Program, IDRP, for a stormwater management addendum to the village's comprehensive plan. The village will be responsible for $33,030 of the total cost. The plan will address stormwater issues related to the 2008 and later storms, especially in the combined sewer area. Village management recommends approval of an engineering proposal from RJN Group at a total cost of $128,030. The non-grant portion of the work will be taken from the Stormwater Fund and/or Wastewater Fund. Do I have a motion on item number 15?
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
make a motion for the resolution.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to second that motion.
Questions and comments from the board?
Madam President?
Trustee Wagner.
Just a question about the source of the funding. So community development block grants, that is actually federal money that is filtered through the county and they kind of oversee the distribution of the money? Is that correct?
I believe it is. Director Discalz, would you like to add anything?
Typically they're federal grants, but.
Yes, this is actually a specialized grant. This is a one-time funding source relative to the 2008 floods. But yes, it is federal money funneled through DuPage, or actually, I think in this case, it's going through the state.
Madam
But it
President,
is block grant type funding, so the requirements are very similar to those of a block grant project.
Madam President, can I
Yes.
speak?
Yes. Trustee
Uh,
Bolfus.
In doing this plan, it's sort of required by the Illinois EPA that we have a plan in place. Is that what this one falls under?
Well, we're trying to accomplish two things with the same plan. One is to update our combined sewer overflow plan, which is about 30 years ago. And the second is to address some conditions of our permit from the IEPA relative to our wastewater treatment facility and our combined sewers. So this will update our combined sewer plan and also form the basis of our long-term control plan, which is a mandate of the IEPA, which we have to complete in 2 years.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Anybody else on the board? Any questions? All right. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 16 on the formal, public comments on non-agenda items. Anybody out in our community have anything on your mind? Please approach the podium, state your name for the record, and-
Okay, my
and
name
try
is-
to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
3
if you can.
minutes.
Yeah, if you can.
My name is Janet Mayer, and I come to you as I have to Mr. Aiello, Attorney Aiello in the past, and said, when I come and stand before you, it's not just me talking, okay? I've usually, it's people I've talked to, and they don't feel brave enough to come and say what I'm going to say. If Mr. Davis was here, he would say that I'm a very passionate person. One thing I'm passionate about is Villa Park. My grandparents moved here in 1950. I have 31 relatives in this town in 9 different residents. And something not so great happened in my family. And I always feel like you should have good news with the bad news. So the good news is our fire department is awesome. They're doing a great job. Love them at the Summerfest. They were in the parade. They're more visible. I see them coming on calls so quickly. In my neighborhood, wonderful. The problem that I'm having is with the police department. I come before you. I have a family member that I needed to assist in making a complaint of an officer for what we felt was wrongdoing. Not easy, not easy to do. I met with Mr. Keener, I met with Officer Pavlicek for 2 hours. Then I met with another officer who had a conversation with us, telling us the pros and cons. But when we walked out of that meeting, we felt that we were being deterred from filling out a complaint against one of the police officers. Did not feel good. When we went and filled out the complaint, the officer was very irritated with us. Very irritated. Not a good experience. Then I find out that Officer McCann, I believe his name is, he's the one who investigates when you have a complaint. So we have an officer policing another officer. And then supposedly that goes to the chief. Well, I've already met with the chief. And I'm just think that this system is a little crazy when obviously many people have had problems in this town with our police officers. Not as brave as I am, that will come forth and actually make a complaint. So I'm here. So my experience is very poor, and I don't understand how this officer will ever be put in suspension or whatever happens to him by coming forth and then having another officer who's, let's say, as many towns are Band of Brothers, that he's really gonna find the other guy guilty. That the police chief really wants to say that his officer did something wrong. We know he did something wrong. The person in my family was injured, physically hurt. There is no reason for a police officer to hurt anybody, to leave scars on a person. So I'm here, and also I'd like to speak to the public. If you have a problem with the police officer in this town, please come and make a complaint. You can come make a complaint at the police department. It's gonna be tough. You may lose friends, but it's a possibility for you. But this, having one police another, it doesn't work for us residents. It's not fair. And that's what I have to tell you. And they say that a tear, every tear, is an unspoken word that you hurt so much that you don't have a word for it. I've cried many tears over this. I don't have the words to express to you how distraught and how this has turned my family upside down. And if it can happen to my family, it can happen to somebody else's family. It can happen to any one of the 9 residents of my family members, 31 of them that live in this town. It's very upsetting. And I hope you guys as a board will talk about this and do something about it, and that there be a change to how these officers who do wrong things are handled. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Anybody else from the public? Non-agenda items? State your name for the record.
Scott Shepherd. About what I talked about earlier. I guess, you guys don't wanna explain yourself when you discuss your stuff up there, so you just wanna cram it down everybody's throat and say, this is what we're doing. But, I wanted to clarify what I said earlier, and, Trustee Wagner brought up, when I said that the fees are gonna go up, if they split bills up into monthly payments, you're gonna be paying a $4 fee every month instead of every 3 months. They currently collect about $118,000 in administration fees. Sorry, but I'm not naive enough to believe it costs $118,000 to administrate water bills when bills are done automated. So, but anyway, that's just all that much more money that they get if they do go to monthly billing, which has been discussed. But I like to say my displeasure in nobody up there speaking their mind and coming up with any ideas to the residents. They just said, we're gonna take Stanley's and we're gonna go with it. I'd like to hear what plans you have to ease the burden. You know, you're gonna go to monthly fees, monthly billing? You know, can you break up, bill everybody every 3 months and be able to pay in 3 equal installments over that period?
I don't think it's done yet.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'd like to know what the other board members think about it, and if they have any ideas to ease the burden on something that I don't necessarily disagree that the fees need to be there. You know, water bills go up, I mean, they do, but it's going up so high so fast. What ideas do you guys have about easing the burden? I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Manager Keener,
There's been
comment
no,
on that.
there's been no decision to go to monthly billing, and right now, we can't go to monthly billing until we would update our water meters so that they can be read electronically, maybe by a drive-by unit or bouncing off a water tower such as a repeater, but we could possibly go to bi-monthly, so that's something we're looking into right now. You can pay your water bill monthly right now. We're not gonna refuse your money. I've never seen that happen. And it's, you know, it's not gonna happen. So I may go home tonight and just start telling my wife, pay portion of our water bill every month. And all you do is, you're just gonna have a credit. So just because you get a bill on a quarterly basis doesn't mean you have to pay it on a quarterly basis. You can pay it monthly. Is that correct, Director? Yes. So start, folks out there in Villa Park, if you'd like to pay your water bill or a portion of it monthly, please stop by the finance department or put your check in the water box outside, and we'll certainly credit your account. And they can go monthly right now if they want, just pay a portion.
So prepaying is what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
Rather than break up when we get our bill into 3 equal payments without getting charged late fees and everything else.
You don't get charged a late fee. By the time you get to the quarter, you're already paid. AT&T bills monthly, Verizon bills monthly.
You're suggesting prepay your bill before you get it then?
If you want to break it up right now, you can break it up right now. You can pay right now. Scott, you can come in tomorrow morning at 9:01 and we'll take your money.
Yeah, I know it, but I don't know what my bill's gonna be. That's the whole thing. You're asking me to prepay.
No, you don't have to put down $300. You can put down 50, 50, and 50 for 3 months, and you're
Right.
probably all the way home.
And I believe we actually have some residents that do that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There
There's
was
nothing
one
wrong.
resident that actually contacted us, and she's doing that right now, so interesting that you bring that up. So,
Well, if you do go to bi-monthly, that means we're gonna get hit for $4 fee every,
We'll certainly take a look at that. I mean,
rather
we're
than
not
That's
deduct
there
it
not
to
yet.
right.
3 or 2 or split it up or. I'd just like to hear, you know, other people's, you know, what have you guys been discussing? What, you know, to ease the burden or ease the blow? You know, I just haven't heard anything.
Certainly
It's just the
shouldn't
ordinance comes up, couple people speak, and everybody's silent, and they all vote yes. You know, and it's like, well, what's people thinking, you know?
When did that happen?
Well, okay, you asked to delay it,
And then I voted against it.
right, but I mean, it passed. That's my point.
but certainly there shouldn't be $4 fees each time. I mean, that's something that definitely the village needs to
Our
look at.
administration fee on my bill
Right, I know what
every
you're
month
talking
is
about, but
$4.
yeah.
So, every bill.
If we retool this, there shouldn't be multiple fees attached to it, so.
Well, I'm
The
just saying,
manager-
if you
well,
went to
we'll look at
bi-monthly,
that.
that's
We'll definitely look at that.
more a year that they get out
Right,
of it.
yeah.
I think Director Lump would like to address it.
Shannon Lump from our Finance Director.
Scott is referring to the $4.50 a quarter every bill. It's $1.50 per month.
Got it, okay.
So if you get billed 1 month, it's $1.50, 2 months, it's 3 months, it's the $4.50.
$4.50 for
And
the quarter.
That's staying the same.
Yeah, not per month. Yeah, so it's not per month, is what we're trying to tell you, so. Oh. Okay.
Good evening.
Hi.
John Squeal, North Lincoln Avenue, Villa Park. I'm gonna go back a couple months, I just wanna make a couple of comments. Haven't been able to make it here, it's it's been kinda long, so, just wanna comment on Summerfest back in June.
Okay.
Very good time, very good job. I got to see some interesting things. We had a, bed bug detection demonstration by our local pest control company. It was very interesting, something different. Our outstanding canine handler on the police department, a yearly demonstration we do there, enjoyed it. Moving on to July, the Wednesday night Kiwanis concerts on the Prairie Path, enjoyed them immensely, as I do every year. Great job. Got to see a lot of people you don't get to see that often. The musical talent was great. As usual, you brought back somebody from last year. Outstanding. Enjoyed it. Wish we could do it some more. One night a week just doesn't seem to be enough. But another comment, and I might have one question for Rich if I get a minute here. Third Saturday in August, this year is the 17th, is International Homeless Animal Awareness Day. Kind of an interesting event.
You said homeless awareness.
International Homeless Animal Day. For, these events occur for various reasons: employment, poverty, lack of education, funding, whatever it may be, restriction by government. There'll be a lot of activities going on. If you're interested, check your local social media. There'll be microchip events, vigils, adoption events. It's third Saturday in August, if anybody's interested. Manager Keener, I had a question for you that I haven't been able to get to you on the sewer reimbursement program.
The sewer reimbursement?
The sewer reimbursement program. I kind of threw some paperwork at you several months ago when this first came up, probably back in March or something. I had a repair in February. Is this program retroactive? I'm just curious, because you probably remember I threw the paperwork at you. I kind of brought the issue up.
Just see me after this. Yeah, we did some things.
Yeah.
So I've got your stuff. Yeah.
I was just curious. And the other thing with the $1,000 amount, it was a good thing that you did so you could help more people. I have some concerns that, as my repair was only about 4 feet and roughly around $3,000, is it ever gonna be adjusted? I'm more concerned about people in town on a fixed income that would have, say, a 40, 50, 60 foot repair, that $1,000. And I talked to Deb about this months back, and she said this was kind of just a start. I'm concerned that people on fixed incomes, as you know, you're responsible for your sewer line opposite your easement. That $1,000 was a good thing. You help people with smaller repairs, but, you know, as Vetus is aware, if we have some bad concrete in town from, I believe, the 50s, and the more road work you start to do, even grinding overlays, you're vibrating the pavement, and you might find that you're gonna have a lot more sewer repairs as you start to do more road work. I was just wondering if that's ever gonna be adjusted or considered.
It might be adjusted in the future. I mean, that's up to the board
Okay.
when I bring it to them, but it was very popular. In fact, tonight we added more money to it.
Okay.
And that was just something that staff thought up, just to get the program back out, was just to do 1,000 and
Right,
try to help
exactly, right,
40
right.
individuals, and now we added 40 more thousand to help 40 more individuals, so, but, yeah, that might be adjusted in the future, based on
Okay,
revenues.
and also, if being retroactive, is it also gonna be like a one-time usage program? Would you be able to multiple usage over years?
That's a very good question.
Okay.
My initial thought would be one time, but,
Okay.
you know, if you didn't use the whole 1,000, maybe multiple. I'd have to really look at it and see where we're at, and I see some people in the audience shifting.
Okay, okay. I was just curious because a lot of it's from tree damage, and trees are gonna continue to grow.
Right.
And it might be a continual problem. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Anybody else? Public comments on non-agenda items? Okay. Move on to number 18 on the formal unfinished business, none. I'm sorry. Oops. Did I miss something here? Oh, I'm sorry. I had written notes over it. I'm so sorry. Number 17, village clerk's report.
I
I'm
have
sorry about that.
something to
Clerk
say.
Rosanna?
Yes, I wanted to let the public know about the Elmhurst Memorial Healthcare event. They are going to do a symbolic walk from the Elmhurst, the old Berteau campus, and the walk will be down York Road all the way to the new hospital on Brush Hill. And this is to bring awareness to Elmhurst and surrounding communities about the new state-of-the-art cancer center that is opening up. It'll be this will be done on September 29th, the walk. It's not a run, it's just a walk. And it's on a Sunday, starting probably 4 in the afternoon. And so you'll be hearing more about this, but this is to get people to start considering to walk, get groups to walk together. There will be T-shirts available and a variety of things that they're planning, and we'll have more details and you'll see in different places. But it's something to be aware, and they would like people from all the communities represented, the ones that use Elmhurst Hospital. So we'd like to have Villa Park represented as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
Writing a lot of notes here. Okay, now number 18, unfinished business, none. Number 19, new business, none. Number 20, village manager's report.
Thanks, Your Honor.
What do you have for us tonight?
I'd just like to thank all the volunteers that came out and staff for the National Night Out. I was present at Lufkin Pool that evening, and staff did a wonderful job. So did the volunteers. Boy Scouts were on hand. Did a nice job, so very impressive. I didn't get a chance to attend all the night outs, but Lufkin represented our community very well. I usually go through my statistics for code violations. I'm going to kind of keep it short this evening and just read some ones that caught my eye. The site visits this year for our code enforcement, 1,451 to date versus last year, 403. Adjudication cases, 451 have been here in the chambers versus 169 last year. The fines because of those cases, 80,950 versus 18,000 last year. To date, we've had 897 building inspections versus 163 last year. So our numbers are looking pretty good. Code enforcement's out doing their job. And if you have any kind of issues throughout the community, I always tell folks to use the code violations email. It comes to me along with 3 other individuals, and I deal with that myself personally. I send it to staff to get it done. They email it back to me, and then I email it back to you as a resident to make sure that you understand that it's been dealt with, and usually it's dealt with the same day, depending upon what it is. Want to let folks know that we're kind of doing something neat. We've got a set of dugouts installed at Jefferson Ball Field. I think it's, Greg, is that number 2? Number 2 ball field. Never been done before, so what we did is we allowed a candidate for Eagle Scout to help us develop these. And we welded them, we put them in the ground, and now we're putting the metal roofs on. This is a prototype, so we've already caught one item we want to change. We're actually going to put a back on the benches, which will be attached to the metal uprights, and then the bottom bench where your hinder sits will be the length of the whole dugout. So usually, when my son plays, I see some parents sit with the team, so there'll be plenty of room. So anyway, when we do the prototype, finish it, we're going to carry the prototype out through the other ball fields this year at Jefferson. So all the ball fields at Jefferson this year will have dugouts. And then we've already removed a tree, I believe, for batting cages near Jefferson Pool. So I believe we're going to install 2 batting cages on the Jefferson Pool side of land we own. And should be very interesting. And then we'll do Jackson in the spring with batting cages and dugouts. Want to switch to the skate park, the playground, and the garden areas at the Iowa Community Center. We're going to have the grand opening on Saturday, August 31st at 10 a.m. There'll be cake, there'll be hot dogs, there'll be a DJ. It's very exciting. If you haven't visited the area, please stop by. One of the most intriguing things, I go by about every other morning. So this morning I happened to notice that we planted pepper plants and tomatoes, broccoli, and something else in the garden area, which was really interesting. And I was kind of taken back by that. It's surviving. So I know that it wouldn't grow at my house. We have the RDS bike race August 18th. I believe that's a Sunday, and very successful last year. It was a lot of fun. Did have a couple of accidents. Those aren't fun, but they're kind of neat to watch. They go down the straightaway like 35 to 40 miles an hour, and I'm just amazed at the thin tires and how fast they go. So they're going to be, I believe, on Kenilworth, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe parts of Washington. Newly done roads, so I think there'll be incredible speeds this year. Harvard? Down Harvard? Okay. Incredible speeds. So that's Sunday morning. We'll probably be there with some coffee and donuts watching. It was awesome last year.
Is it the same course or route
A
this
different
year?
course because the roads were done. One more item and I'm done for the evening. The DuPage Homeownership Center is offering free help for our struggling homeowners. There's events September 18th and 19th in Wheaton, in Chicago. We'll put this on our website. I don't know if the camera can zoom in, but if you're struggling with your mortgage, we've got several meetings that might help you. I'll put this on the website tomorrow, and you can review that. If you don't have the internet, call the office, and I'll send you one. I'll get one to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 21, Village Attorney's Report.
No report.
No report. Okay, item number 22, Village Trustees Report. I'll start to my left. Trustee Wagner is all by himself down there tonight. What's on your mind tonight?
Thank you, Madam President. I attended National Night Out, and I agree with Manager Keene. It was an excellent event
That's great.
at Lufkin Pool. And while I was there, I had a brief but interesting conversation with Director Yee. And hate to put her on the spot here, but she mentioned a transportation committee that was formed. And subsequently, I read a very interesting article in the Villa Park Argus about the efforts of DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference to bring public transportation back to some of our areas that have been neglected or lost routes. And I just wanted to maybe get an update as to how the committee is constituted, what its mission is, and what they've been up to. So.
Director Yee, Director of Economic Development.
Thank you, Commissioner Wagner, for asking about the
Okay.
Transportation Committee. We have a number of people who are already on the committee, including Phil Greco of the Odium, as well as Christine Kruger, who's working on the Prairie Co-op, and also Brian Gay, who's with Choose DuPage, and myself, and certainly we welcome anybody who is of interest, who's interested in transportation within Villa Park. But the main goal, as I see it, and it's a dynamic item that can evolve, is I want to improve our transportation infrastructure. That would include expanding our current bus service. Primary goal right now is to get bus service to our TOD, to our Metro train station, because I think it's critical to our village and to development. I've had a number of conversations with Pace Bus. I've not had any success. I've probably had 3 or 4 conversations with them in the last 3 weeks, but I will continue to press them because I think it's a very short distance from St. Charles to the Metro station. And so my next objective is to probably put a petition together of residents and people to try to get some movement behind that, to pressure Pace to do that. I'd like to, beyond that, get some additional linkage connecting transportation from the south end of our town to the north end of our town, ideally running along Ardmore, I'd also like to see additional ease of access in terms of walkability that would include bicycle transportation as well as pedestrian transportation. So these are all lofty goals to some extent, but I think that it's important enough and critical to both the economic development as well as a benefit to our residents, business residents, as well as residential people to have improved transportation. I'd also ideally like to see bus transportation linking all parts of our city. Ovaltine we have bus service that take people outside of our town, but we don't have bus service that service people within the town, and therein lies the problem. But I welcome anybody who's interested in joining.
I think it's a wonderful goal, and I like everything you said. We'd just like to know when the meetings are.
I'm trying to have sort of a pre-meeting with some of the folks who have offered to volunteer. I can certainly put you on that time frame when we set that up. I've been trying to set something up. We're hoping probably in the next 30 days, and we're trying to set up a meeting. But I also want to meet with each one of the individual people to see what ideas they have, and then to coalesce all those ideas and sort of pick 2 or 3 main goals, because you can't do everything at once. So we have to have some short-term as well as some long-term goals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And lastly, Madam President, I just want to mention that the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission is going to have a meeting tomorrow, the 13th, at 7 p.m. at Iowa Community Center. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, to my right, Trustee Bolfus.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, Trustee Taglia.
I'll reserve my comments tonight, thank you.
Okay, Trustee Case.
Yes. Sorry for the situation you had with our police department, but I'm sure it will be professionally handled. But I happened to be playing in a fundraiser, and in my foursome there was 3 police officers from surrounding towns. And the question was brought up to me is, why is your police department always getting bad rep? And they said, from what they heard, the police department's doing a good job. I didn't bring this up for an argument.
No, I just wanted to tell you something that I overheard when I was at the DuPage court.
Janet.
Let her speak.
All right.
Let her speak.
I just heard 2 attorneys say, why do all the resisting arrest and obstruction of justice come from Villa Park? I heard 2 attorneys say that. I was just sitting there and heard it. So, okay.
Okay.
Both have an opinion.
All right. Well, I'm gonna save this for right now, because I'm not gonna go about, I mean, I got nothing but a good report.
Great.
Okay, everybody thinks differently.
Well, you know what? There's more than one police officer around the world. That's true.
Correct. There's always a bad apple in a bunch.
Yeah.
Okay. But I have a list of here that all things that the police have accomplished, and I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Well,
Okay.
I'm glad, but you know what?
All right,
One of them being on
excuse
that
me,
Okay.
as a parliamentarian, we've had public comment.
Okay.
That's not,
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yes,
And
thank
then
you.
I won't,
thank you,
I'll
Trustee.
save my, good report for the next meeting, because everybody seems to be a little, okay? That's it.
Okay. All right, and Janet, we'll get with you afterwards. Okay. No? Okay, all right. I'm just gonna throw it out there, just in case. Okay. All right, item number 23 on our formal, consider executive session, A through E. A, 5 ILCS C1, Personnel Matters and Collective Bargaining. B, 5 ILCS 120-2, C5, Purchase or Lease of Property. C, 5 ILCS 120-2, C28, Meetings between internal or external auditors and governmental audit committees, finance committees and their equivalents. D, 5 ILCS 120-2, C11, Pending Litigation. And E, 5 ILCS 120-2, C21, Discussion of Closed Session Minutes. Do I have a motion for executive session?
Madam President,
Yes, trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Bolfus.
second.
Okay. Questions and comments from the board? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes?
trustee Case,
Yes.
trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia,
No.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Okay. Item number 24, actions from closed session if needed. We will, may or may not come back after exec session, so if there's any actions, we will definitely close out the meeting and adjourn. But for now, we will go into executive session. Reminder, our next board meeting is on Monday, August 26th, 7:30 here at Village Hall. Thank you.